just another day. Busyness has got me buried. It's supposed to be a holiday. How did life become so harried? When did love expressed become so damn capitalist? It shouldn't be. Resentful, I complain, but then I feel ashamed of my complicity. But then I light my tree. Christmas reminds me of what matters most in this life. To live with compassion and recognize the Christ light that shines in you, that shines through me and all of humanity.
You know, I often see Reverend Abigail come out here, and she just stops and just takes in the room. And I get it. You know, I get it. It's just waves of love coming at me that is feeding me, that is creating waves of love coming right back out here. It's just beautiful circulation. And I am so, so honored to be here now. For those who don't know me, my name is Reverend Kathy Scharmer. And this is the very first sermon that I am doing as a licensed reverend. So. Thank you. I've done talks, of course, when I'm in the 5 years of study it took to get here, but there's something different. You know, like Lucy was saying, when she's on the stage, and it was her stage, it's like Minister of the Day. So, and looking around at people who are here, just especially because of today, just warms my heart. My practitioner from San Jose, my niece and my grandbabies, grandnieces and nephews, my stepdaughter, people from Seattle, and all of you who are here most Sundays. So, yes, thank you all very much. It is just truly, truly a blessed day for me. As Reverend Abigail says, the best day ever, right? And with today's topic being integrity, just really resonates with my heart. You know, this is one of those values that I've always had very, very close to me. You know, for me to say something that is not true happens once or twice a year, you know, and that's when I really get backed into the corner. I'll avoid things. I'll keep my mouth shut. But to say something yes when it's no, you know, I just don't do that. Except when it comes to making somebody else happy. Will I say something that makes somebody feel good, even though I may not always feel it in my own soul? I've done that. I've done that. And there's a lot of me that was brought up as that people pleaser, that middle child, right? 2-year older sister, 2-year younger brother, and I'm the one that's standing in the middle, kind of keeping a little balance going on in my family. But what I found out of being a people pleaser is not living in integrity. Because I'm going to say one thing to person A because it makes them happy. And then person B over here says, well, Kathy, that's just wrong. Oh, yeah, you know, it is kind of wrong, isn't it? What am I saying? You know, I'm not being in integrity. I'm not being true to who I am. And when I'm fickle like that, because that's what it is, I'm absolutely fickle. I'm wishy-washy. I can't make a decision. I don't even know my own heart because my focus is not inside. My focus is outside. How can I make these people happy? I can't. None of us can. And one of the teachings, one of the great teachings that we have is that there is only one mind. I don't have to make anybody happy. I don't have to, and I can't, even if I wanted to. What I can do, though, is that I can bring my consciousness to that higher level. And when I raise my consciousness to the higher level, with that belief structure that there's only one mind that we are all tapping into, I am bringing that mind higher as well. So living in integrity is being true to yourself. Being true to who you are, even though it might be saying something that may not necessarily be what someone wants to hear. But is it my truth, said in love, said in that highest consciousness? You know, the Buddhists have a belief in the spoken word. There's such power in what we speak. The Buddhists say that words should be spoken if 3 conditions are met. First one, is it true? If it's not true, don't say it. Just don't say it if it's not true. Second one, is it kind? Now, we often have times in our lives when we have to say things that are not kind. So that kindness gets qualified then. If it's not kind, is it necessary? And that's back to mindfulness. What do I want to achieve by saying something that isn't kind? And if where my heart is in that low place of anger, resentment, frustration, vengeance, vindictiveness, mean-spiritedness, and I say something unkind, that's not who I want to be. That's not living in integrity. So one of the things that I have done through the years is to give myself challenges. I don't call them New Year's resolutions, because resolutions are a little bit different mindset. This is a challenge for me to always ask myself, is it necessary? And sometimes it is. And sometimes it is. And when I take that moment, that mindful moment, I will say things that are unkind with love. And those are the moments when things change. That's when there's an impact on other people's life. Because it's not, that doesn't help, does it? That's that lower part of me. I like to come up into that new beginnings, the new year, and look from that mindset of how can I make a difference in the world? How can I impact the people that go on around me? So with new beginnings as our theme, it's nice to be able to take that moment and reflect on who we are, how we show up in the world, what we've done, and not in a way to criticize ourselves, to live in shame and blame of, oh man, I shoulda, I coulda, I oughta. Those words don't add value to an individual's perception of life. Those are the words that add blame. And that's living in the past in that negative sense, because you can't come out of the past in order to have a new beginning. Ernest Holmes talks about that actually, quite often in his Living the Science of Mind book, which is, if you haven't read that, is absolutely phenomenal. Science of Mind is the textbook that we use here in our center, and in the 400 centers, worldwide that practice these teachings. Ernest Holmes wrote a book in the, I think it was late 1950s, that was taking the Science of Mind textbook in a modernistic way and said, how do we live this? It's one thing to write a variety of different theories and philosophies, but how do we live it? So in the book, Living the Science of Mind, he talks about going over the past and looking at it and what actually to do with it. He says, we cannot go back over the past and relive it. We can't make adjustments in the past. We have to make them in the present. It's not going to do us any good to sit around and cry over the past and bemoan our fate, Because the very day which we are living, we are creating our tomorrows. This particular moment in time, right here, right now, we are creating what tomorrow will give to us. Tomorrow is New Year's Day. Tomorrow is the very first day of 2018. Tomorrow is my birthday. I was a New Year's babe. I was 12 minutes after midnight. It was one of the things that has been very exciting for me over the years. Because New Year's is a time when everybody wants to celebrate the newness, right? We just want to embrace the world. And being born just 10 minutes after the New Year started has always been something that I have taken a lot of pride in, a lot of joy in. And honestly, there's been times when I haven't. When it's been sad. When I've been alone. When there's been troubles. And here it's New Year's Eve. And it's my birthday. Cycle. And we all get there, don't we? We all go through those times when I want to be happy. I want to be joyous. I want to just embrace life with everything that I've got. And it's my birthday and there's nobody around and it's New Year's Eve. These things happen. This is the human condition. Honor those feelings. Don't dwell in them. Don't wallow in self-pity, but don't deny them either, because they're just as much a part of us as those joyous, happy times. There is a Reverend in San Jose, Reverend Dr. David, who says, when you're going through hell, don't stop and buy property. Keep on going. Keep on going. And how many of us, let me sign the deed right here because I want this pain. This pain is feeding me. This pain is making me alive because I don't know anything else. Those are the things we want to leave behind for 2017. And as Bobby was talking about, this year has been some topsy-turvy things. We've had ups and downs. Today is the last day of 2017. So one thing I like to do is I don't do resolutions anymore. I'm going to break them. Let's be honest here, right? How many of us really go in on January 1st and say, I'm going to make a change and I'm going to exercise every single day and it's going to be a 2-hour workout every single day? Well, it doesn't happen. It might happen on January 1st, maybe January 2nd. If you're really good, you might stretch it out 2 or 3 weeks. What I've looked at instead, though, instead of what do I want to do, I'd ask myself, what do I want to be? Isn't that a bigger question? Much bigger question. It's easy to start looking at what I want to do. And there's a belief structure that says if I do something, then I can have something, and then I can be something. So if I do really long hours at work, then I'm going to have more money, and then I'll be happy. Well, let's flip it around. Let's not make it do be have. Let's do it the other way around. Let's be first. Let's be happy. And then anything that I do is part of my happiness. And because I have this happiness in my life, everything that I have is what I want. Because I'm starting with who I am first. That's also all about living in integrity. So this year, think about who do you want to be? It's a big question, isn't it? There's an old story, and I'm sure most of you have already heard this one, but I'll quickly go through it because it's one of my favorite stories of this great Harvard MBA who, has got gazillion monies and all types of different houses everywhere, and kind of full of himself, to be honest. But he decides to take a fishing trip over to Mexico. And he's down in Mexico, and he's enjoying the balmy weather there. He goes fishing every morning with the locals, and long in about mid-afternoon, he takes a lovely little siesta. And in the evenings, he gathers with the local fishermen, and he has a couple beers. Somebody brings out a guitar. They start singing and playing their songs, and it's just this ideal world. But he's a Harvard businessman. He says, you can do better. Instead of only one fishing boat, why don't you have a fleet? And you know what you could do? You could start building your fleet slowly. And he lays out this whole big, elaborate marketing plan. And the people in this little fishing village are listening. They're polite, they're smiling, and they're nodding, and ask, why? Why would I want to build this great big fleet you've just described? Well, once you have a big fleet, then you're going to have all types of extra money. And when you have this extra money, then you can do all kinds of things that you never even dreamed of. Oh? Like what? Well, think of all the time. You could go fishing in the morning and take a siesta in the afternoon and hang out with a couple beers and play music. They got it. They lived the life of being happy, not about having, not about doing. Come to your source first, because this is a source that connects each and every one of us in this room to each and every one of us in this room, in this city, in this world. We are only one mind. Kicking chairs notwithstanding. You know, the whole thing, too, about living in integrity and being the person that you're meant to be means accepting yourself, all the good and all the bad. Emerson was one of the major authors that influenced Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes would often say reading Emerson was like drinking water, just refreshed his soul. Emerson wrote an essay called Self-Reliance, and he looked at that whole element of being yourself. Emerson writes, I appeal to your customs. I must be myself. I cannot break myself any longer for you. You can love me for what I am. We will both be happier. If you cannot, I will still seek to deserve that you should. I must be myself. I will not hide my tastes nor my aversions. I will so trust that what is deep is holy. If you are noble, I will love you. If you are not, I will not hurt you, nor myself by hypocritical attentions. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. And that's what I would like to invite you to do today. We've got a few hours before midnight. Stop and look at who you really are. And ask yourself, what's the next level? What do I want to step into? Who do I want to be? And how can I be better tomorrow in 2018 than I am today? Let us pray. There is one mind, one source, one eternal goodness in this world. I call this one source God. I call this one source Spirit, love, peace, joy, beauty, power. So many words that all identify that single element, the good in the universe that is ours to use. This good exists deep inside me, moving me forward each and every day in new ways that I never even dreamed of. I am so blessed to be here now, to be in this room with these people in this environment. I know that the words that I have said today have resonated. I know that the message that is coming to me as a channel from the Divine Mind is being received by the Divine Mind in each and every one of you. I know that the things that have occurred for all of us in the year 2017 are now coming to an end, coming to a conclusion, coming to fruition. And tomorrow is a brand new baby day, a new beginning that each and every one of us has the opportunity to step into in new and bigger ways than we ever could have imagined. I know that that is a truth for me, and I know that is a truth for every single person here in the room and in this world, whether they know it or not. I wish each and every one of you an absolutely joyous new year. This fills my heart with gratitude to see this center, this congregation, our people, our family here, knowing that they're stepping into 2018 in ways never before imagined. With this gratitude in my heart, I let go of these words knowing they are already manifest in the mind of God. I invite each and every one of you to join me and anchor these words by saying, "And so it is."